how are you? My name is Chris Quinlan and welcome to the Drumshow. I just did a little thing then. One of the main things was the hi-hat, just pumping away there on quavers. If I just keep doing that with a ride cymbal, any time I play a single stroke roll with my left hand there, it will be naturally open. See, that's pretty loose, but what I'm getting at is that, I'll turn the snares on for a bit too. What starts to happen, I'll take them out. What starts to happen is that this becomes another voice. One of the things about when you're using ride cymbals and things, if you use this beautiful cymbal over here, beautiful, something like that, that's great, but the rest of the band is really only hearing in their eyes and just hearing so on. Sometimes to get a really tight band happening, you really do need the hi-hat, right? You can have the best of both worlds if you start using the hi-hat. So it's a bit of a hi-hat lesson tonight. So if I've got this going, great, add that in. And it gives more definition to everything. One of the things about this hi-hat, I keep going on, we all keep going on about John Bonham, don't we, with Led Zeppelin? But what happens is, that was pretty much his secret weapon, you know, like if you... I've got that fairly puffy just at the minute. You can, of course, you can adjust the tilt of the bottom hat, give you a bit more chick, if you like. This is an extra dry Byzance medium hi-hat, so I just love the wash of it. I tend to let it ring, as you regular watchers of the show tend to know. That's in the vein of a John Bonham drum solo. Whenever you see John Bonham playing a solo, you'll always see the bit on the snare drum, brilliance. You'll always see the lick of the century, more brilliance, all that sort of stuff. But you'll always see the hi-hat pumping away like that, often with a one of these fellas actually, a hi-hat tambourine. So why not I put it on, hey? Get all that going. So I put that there, gives it, you just get that real jingle. What's going on over here? Another wardrobe malfunction, God help me. There we go, that's a bit better, pulling me away. So gotta love that. Do you want me to show you how it works? It's for me. There's a few people do it in a couple of different ways, but essentially it's just 3 notes. Some people start with the bass drum. I tend to start with the floor tom, and it's floor, high, foot, and right, left foot is what it is. Take that off. So I get it? Good. And then what happens then is that you add the hi-hat with the right hand. Now, this is a little bit of a theory that I have with drumming, because it depends on how old you are. What happens is I just tended to find that when I was born in 1960 and started drumming in the 70s, early 70s, and the big thing, there was still that hi-hat on 2 and 4 when you're playing a rock beat. So on it goes. You're meant to have your hi-hat there, as much as possible. All that sort of stuff. Because when you're growing up in the 60s as just a little tacker, I mean, the drummers that are playing were still all being taught by all the old jazzers, okay? Given that rock and roll was brand new in the 50s. And when you're actually listening to, say, Elvis Presley and Bill Haley and some of the old dudes, it's a jazz, it's a, Oh, I could keep on going on. I think I was going back to jazz then. But the thing about it is this kind of playing pervaded into early rock and roll. And you've got to remember a lot of the early rock and roll was a 2-handed rhythm, right? I keep mentioning people like Earl Palmer and people like that, where you have... In jazz, that was called the jump rhythm. So you get... Bit by bit, that flattened out. Come on, everybody. Clap your hands. So on. And getting back to bottom. There it is. There's the introduction to rock and roll. 2-handed. The hi-hat was always going. Now, I've just jumped into 2 separate little things there. The use of the left hand, 50s rock and roll a little bit. But the hi-hat is what I'm talking about here. So this really gives you a lot of balance. And then getting back to the bottom thing and the lick of the century, as I call it, which is right, left foot, what starts to happen is that the right hand, or the hi-hat goes to the right hand. You see, when I was coming up in the 70s, my old teacher used to... Back to the aforementioned wash. Now, that's a 22-inch sand crash ride there, but you've always got to remember that Bonham used a 24-inch ride. Wow, 24. And so what happens is that you've got beautiful sounds, but at some point you want to add definition to your beat. So one of the things that I do, because I work with triggers and all sorts of different things, no triggers on just at the minute, but what actually happens here is that when I'm actually using triggers and things like that, I need to hit them to trigger them, all this sort of stuff. So if I'm playing something, there's that, then I'll want to play something on the top with the triggers. And I'm playing some kind of tom melody there because I can get my left foot pumping away with quavers. You see? See what's going on? And I finished off this segment of the show with a classic John Bonham lick. But after the break, maybe I'll take you a little bit further into that sort of business. Okay, talk soon.